I came to PSG in Toronto to speak about the complaint filed against me by 4 associations, 3 associations of child protection, and 1 feminine association against rape. Like if I had made the apology of rape. If you work on parental alienation, if you publish on parental alienation, if you evoke parental alienation in a report of expertise, you are exposed to a campaign of defamation and hatred. It was very violent. It took me 3 years of my professional life. At the end, I was acquitted of all chiefs of accusation, but it was a very, very hard fight. There were 7 reports of expertise during 30 years of professional life, but the main complainant was a woman who accused her husband of sexual abuse against 1 child, the only one who was born, and then a second one when she was born, and then a third one when she was born. And she lost the custody of her 3 children because all the judges could see that she was passionately mad. But I made an expertise for ex-husband in 2015, which was the year when the judge decided to transfer the custody to her ex-husband, reversal of custody. 7 years later, when the complaint was filed against me, she joined the pack of complainants, and she told the journalist, and all the media believed it without checking, that she lost because I spoke of parental alienation in my work, which has nothing to do with parental alienation. It was only a question of false allegation of sexual abuse. When the media think they are on the side of good, they don't need to verify, they don't need to check. They rush without checking anything. It started by a radio commentary, defamatory radio commentary, which started by this sentence: "You have been condemned to jail because you have protected your children." And of course, all by the fault of Paul Bensussan. This is almost over because I was acquitted. It took 3 years to be judged. Of course, they appeal. They compare me to Joël Le Squarnec. He's a surgeon that during his professional life abused and raped hundreds of children during the anesthesia, you know? And they compare me to Joël Le Squarnec in their appeal. They have no chance to win. It's only to reduce me to silence. It was very hard because I had to go on working with that background noise, all the shitstorm in the media, in the social network. What gave me the courage of copying was the trust of the judges. In the very beginning, my work decreased, but during the 3 years, I had the most beautiful cases in France. You know, when a forensic psychiatrist says beautiful cases, it's gore. It's a horror show. But if you are interested in criminology, you are happy to have these cases in expertise. And I had, and I behaved as if it did not exist. But of course, I felt relieved when I was acquitted because I have nothing to blame myself. The field of parental alienation is a minefield. It's a very dangerous field. Of course, when a judge names me for a case, I accept. And when I receive the file, I say, oh shit, this will be my next complainant. I spent a lot of time and energy to write in an unreproachable way. But even though they say, we knew he was going to say that because he's always with the father, or he's always denies the children's word, etc. It's a minefield. The parental alienation is a field that doesn't seem to interest a lot of psychiatrists in France. So maybe, I don't say it in a proud way, but I'm almost the only one to have published about it. So I'm the main target. They said, Paul Bensussan called the children liars. No, I didn't. I just said that the psychological expertise were a shit, and that justice couldn't make a decision on such expertise. It was unspeakable. It appeared that I was like the advocate of child abusers, who are not. In this fight, there is a dimension of religious inflection. Let's say the child is sacred. The sexual abuse is a profanation. But for my detractors and for all the activists fighting against parental alienation, to interpret the child's words is another profanation. You have to take it literally. If a child say, I don't want to see my mother anymore, she's evil, etc., you have to believe him or her. If you don't, you are with the abusers, because they make a link between parental alienation and child abuse and sexual abuse. Parental alienation for them is an invention that doesn't exist to protect abusers. But they say it's junk science because it's not recognized by American Psychiatric Association. They present themselves as scientists, and they use all day long the concept of perversion, which is a psychoanalytic concept and doesn't exist in the classifications either. But we can say that what is not in the classification doesn't exist. This is nonsense. For instance, perversion is not in the classification. Does it mean that perversion doesn't exist? Of course not. The pathological gambling didn't exist in the classification before 1981. Does it mean that before 1981 the pathological gambling didn't exist? This is nonsense. This is pseudo-scientific fight. With God on our side, as said Bob Dylan in a song, in an old song of Bob Dylan. They have God on the side.